Gals and welcome, yes. So I don't have much time today because I have to go to work tonight, but I figured that we could do a theory craft at the very least. And there's a fun little theory craft that I was planning on doing today, which is a theory craft about a throwing sorceress. And we're going to play around with the idea. As always, I do appreciate the likes and the comments and the subscribes that you guys give me. And without further ado, let's get started. All right. So, what's the goal of today? Well, I had a couple ideas floating around my head, and it basically revolved around potentially making a character based on a throwing setup. And essentially, there are some really interesting items that have to do with throwing. Throwing also has some very interesting benefits. So, what are the pros of throwing? Well, the pros of throwing are number one, that, well, ranged, so you don't have to be, in melee range, which is a good thing because I'm a scraggly little sorceress that can't take any hits. Number two is that it can pierce, which is a big thing. So being able to pierce is huge when it comes to proccing effects, as well as dishing out damage. So we can hit more than one target at a time. And this is pretty big because basically that means we can apply our damage multiple times depending on how we set up the character, where we're standing, yada yada yada, schmackety, blankety, poopity doopity, big ugly monster, whatever. We throw a sphere, we throw whatever it is, we throw it and it hits multiple targets. Those multiple targets can potentially take multiple amounts of damage because of course you get your on hit damage. Plus, you also get your applied elemental damage. And then you also get your proc effects, which is another interesting thing. So you get multiple doojanks going off at the same time. The cons of throwing, cons of throwing. Mainly, you're just kind of like limited weapon choices, and this is kind of a big issue with throwing items, is that they don't really have the best weapon choices out there. And we're going to be taking a look at all the weapons, and I already have a weapon in mind, but if we happen to come across a better choice, I might be leaning toward that one. So that's the first thing we're going to do today, is we're actually going to go over the weapons, and we're going to take a look at them. So unique, let's look at a unique throwing weapons. We're gonna look at all the unique throwing weapons, and we're gonna just like play around with this. So we've got the death bit. Now the death bit doesn't have any piercing, which is a big downside for us. This would mean that we would have to utilize two pieces of piercing equipment, the wisdom helmet and the belt, to even hit 66%. So death bit's kind of out because it has relatively no piercing effect. The scalper, also no piercing effect. It does have replenished quantity, which is certainly not terrible, but I mean, it doesn't have any proccing effects. There's no piercing effect. Not really the greatest. War Strike, this is the one that I had in mind. And there's two reasons why I have War Strike in mind for this particular build. And basically, this is, number one is Nova on striking. So it has a 25% chance, which is pretty high, chance to cast level 9 Nova on striking, which level 9 is actually a pretty decent level comparatively to a lot of other proccing effects. And it's also a 25% chance. Now, keep in mind that as a throwing class, we now have the ability to pierce, which is something that we're going to prioritize, by the way. So we want near 100% pierce. You can pierce up to up to 5 times, and you can also hit one additional target after the end of the pierce, which means you can potentially pierce and hit up to 6 enemies, which means we have a 25% chance, right? So a 25% chance over 6 attacks is what, 1 in 4? Assuming we don't get lucky, but 1 in 4 means we're at least going to get 1 Nova proc from that every single time we throw, if not more than 1, depending, right? So this is one of the benefits of going with an item that has piercing and also a proccing effect. So War Strike is a good option here. We're going to keep that in mind. Let's take a look at some of the other ones. Now, Gimmer Shred Gimmer Shred is also rather interesting because it has multiple elemental damages. So it's got fire damage, it's got lightning damage, and it has cold damage. It has like the whole 9 yards, right? So this could be interesting for a setup involving multiple masteries. So if you guys are unaware, fire mastery, lightning mastery, and cold mastery all affect any melee or range damage that you have. So, for instance, this fire damage right here that says 218 to 483 is immediately affected by fire mastery if you have it maxed out. Same thing with the lightning mastery at 29 to 501 is immediately affected by your lightning mastery. So, let's take a quick look at lightning mastery. And even just at level 20, so let's take the level 20 version of Lightning Mastery, which is not really all that great, but it's 278% increase, right? So what that means is that our 501 damage here goes up by 278%. So 501 plus 278% gives us a output damage of 1,893. Did I do that right? I may have hit the button twice. Hold on, let me do that again just to be sure. 501 plus 278%. Yeah, so 1,893 damage is basically what that 501 turns into. So this is another interesting approach. So we're going to keep Gimmer Shred in mind for this, because Gimmer Shred is also an interesting choice because it has so many different elemental damages, which can be multiplied by the sorceress in other ways. Now, the problem with this, though, is that something like Nova is AoE and hits multiple targets, whereas something like this is only going to be on-hit damage. So on-hit damage versus proccing damage, or whatever you want to call it. Lacerator, it's got Amp, but Amp doesn't do us any good because we're not a physical class. It also has hit cause monsters to flee, which is going to be a bad thing. So right now we're looking at War Strike and Gimmer Shred. Now let's take a look at the other set of throwing items, which is the Javelins. And let's see what Javelins we have. So Demon Arch also has elemental damage. And Demon's Arch actually might be a better choice. It's just simply because of the fact that it goes further. So what a lot of people don't know about the difference between javelins and throwing items is that javelins travel a lot further, a lot longer distance. So Demon's Arch could be an interesting choice just for the ability to throw further than any other item. We also have Wraith Flight, which life steal, mana after kill, nothing too fancy there. We're not really going to be using mana on this character. Maybe energy shield. I might avoid energy shield because we're going to be point starved on this build, so I don't know if it's going to be worth it. Gargoyle's Bite, also not really all that amazing. So the only one that's really any good here is Demon's Arch, so we'll keep that in mind, and we'll probably grab ourselves a Demon Arch at some point. There's really not a lot of other good throwing items, so we're pretty much just stuck with War Strike, Gimmer Shred, and Demon's Arch Bullrog Spear. Now the problem with these is that War Strike is the only one that had Pierce attached to it, which was 50 Pierce. The other two do not have Pierce attached to them, which is an issue. So that means that if we're going to utilize Gimmer Shred or Demon Arch, we need to utilize both piercing items, which is Wisdom and Razor Tail, to get good effect out of this. So if we don't have... these are limited in what you can use to actually get the best effect out of them. So we're probably going to be going with War Strike. Then we need to figure out what proccing effects we want to add onto this character and what damage we want to add onto this character. Now, proccing effects, there's a lot of items that have proccing effects. First off, Wisp Projectors. Wisp Projectors are actually pretty decent. They have a... what is it? It's like level... I can't even remember. I know it's lightning. It's lightning. Proc. So we got a lightning proc on Wisp Projectors. We could add one or two of them, and we could stack the proc together so we could have lightning going off as well as the Nova. So we got Nova and lightning, and we could potentially add in some chain lightning too, from what I understand. So basically how this build is going to work is it's going to be focusing on number one, the on-hit damage, and number two, it's going to be focusing on potential proccing effects, which will give us AoE damage as well. Let's go ahead and try and get this character set up, and I can start trying to put together, like a piecemeal together, the equipment that she might be using. Let's grab. I'm gonna make a new sorceress for this. So let's go ahead and. Oops. Let's go ahead and create one of these. So we're gonna go create character. Asokareso. GBGGM underscore Tosme. There you go. Unless that's already been made. No, it's not already been made. Alright, Tosme. Tosme! Whoever doesn't know where that comes from, you're uncultured swine. That's all I got to say about you. You're uncultured swine if you don't know what that means. I don't know what to tell you other than that. You uncultured swine. Somebody told me I could set the stats on the character and the points and everything just by simply typing in the EXP instead of the number, so we're going to try that today. I'm going to see if that works. So instead of typing in the levels here, we're going to type in the EXP here. And we're going to see how that levels us up. So we're just going to put in... Actually, what is the EXP for a max leveled character in Diablo 2? So level 99 EXP D2R. So what is the actual number? Nobody has it listed. I need like the actual amount, not the poopity poopities. You tried a Nova proc sorceress with War Strike and you couldn't get it to work? Well, we're gonna see if we can get it to work today. That's gonna be our goal. Can you just click max level there? So I don't want to change it by level because this is something that I've played around with before, and apparently messing around with this causes problems with the way that the characters work. You have to go through the process of like individually setting up the character's stats and everything. And so I was going to try this for the first time, which is basically I'm going to save it as a level 1 character with 9999999 experience, all right? And then we're going to reopen Diablo 2, and I just want to see if the character just simply automatically hits like level 99 or something. I think I have to kill one monster. I think that's what I've got to do. Because I think to trigger the EXP that I've been given, I have to walk out here and tap a monster. And then I think that will automatically level me the proper way. Oh, what am I in hell? I'm in hell? Oh, hold on. Why am I in hell? I don't want to be in hell. I meant to be in normal. That's what I meant to do. I just walked out at level 1 and tried to solo a monster in hell difficulty. That boy just pimp slapped me out of existence. He said, "You level 1? Oh, get out of here, sucker! Will you come here and stop? Give it just eat." Yeah, that didn't work at all. See, like now my EXP is all messed up again. Oh, you found it? Okay, let me type that in. So 3,520,485,254. Alright, let's try that. Let's see if that works. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't think it's going to work. Hey, this is something that was suggested to me by somebody in one of the YouTube channels or YouTube videos. And while it certainly makes sense, but if it doesn't work, then it's just a waste of time. Oh, okay. So I have to have the right amount of EXP. That's what it is. Okay. So now I'm level 99. I got 490 stat points, and I have 98 skill points. 98 skill points doesn't seem correct. Shouldn't it be... hold on. That doesn't seem right. Well, 98 skill points would be correct if it was just the skill points, but the quests are missing, right? So it's missing the quest skill points. I guess that worked better than I thought. Let's reload the character. Oh look, all the stats are correct too. Look at that. All the stats are right and everything. This is amazing. All right. Well, the only thing that's wrong is the skill points. But maybe I didn't hit this button right. Or maybe it just doesn't add them. Maybe I just need to add them, that's all. So we just need to add them to, what is that, 98 plus, what, 4 for each difficulty. So 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that would be 2, well, 100. So 110 would be the correct number with the skill points coming from the quests. Yeah, that's actually a lot easier. Okay, let's make sure we got hell there. Save. Quests, all modes, batch them all finished. Okay, so I think we're done. Alright, let's see if we can get this set up here. Alright, so first off, we're definitely using war strikes. So let's go ahead and pull in some war strikes. We're gonna go uniques. We're gonna go what is it? Weapons, throwing. I'm pretty sure that the only choice we have is war strikes for the most part. But do war strikes replenish? They do replenish. So we're gonna want ethereal war strikes. The reason why you want ethereal ones is even though we're not really focused on physical damage, we can still get life and mana leech. So having life and mana leech is not a bad thing. All right. The only other option I was thinking of is something I can throw like a really long distance, which is Gargoyle's Bite. But I just don't think I think the problem with or not Gargoyle's Bite, Demon Arch F. There's no pierce on it though, which is unfortunate, and I don't think that's enough to compensate for the loss of. I mean, the gaining the distance but losing the pierce. I don't think that's going to be helpful. So there's 50% pierce on the war strikes, which means we have to use Razor Tail. So there's going to be no option here. It's pretty much Razor Tail or bust. So we have to use our Razor Tail. The 33% pierce attack will combine together with the 50% on the item, giving us at least a very healthy, what is that, 83% or 50, 60, 70, 80? Yeah, 83%, which isn't too bad. 83% isn't terrible. We also need attack rating for this to work too, which is kind of a big thing. But I really want to try out the Wisp projectors. I think the Wisp projectors will be a big boon to this particular build. It's really just for the 10% chance to cast level 16 lightning, which goes to a 20% chance to cast level 16 lightning when you have 2 of these on. So that's going to be a pretty big deal. Let's go ahead and grab our torch while we're at it. Of course, we're going to be using a torch. And of course, we're going to be using an Annie. Let's pull in a cube too. I always like having a cube. All right. Now, when I was checking out some different things on Amazon Basin, I was coming across various things that could proc effects for us, and that's kind of what I was looking at is the ability to proc, like specific spells. Now, there's really not a lot that procs Nova, which is unfortunate. So Nova is just one of those things that's kind of stuck. So we're just going to have to leave that as it is. But there are some other ones, namely Chain Lightning specifically has a lot of proccing effects. Let me pull that up real quick. So with Chain Lightning, you can actually get a on attack Chain Lightning modifier right here. A level 5 at 8% can spawn on amulets, weapons, or rings. which we obviously have already consumed both the ring slots with the wisp projectors, and we're not going to be worrying about the weapon because we already have the weapon slot consumed. But the amulet, we can at least get a 5% chance, or a level 5, 8% chance of chain lightning from the amulet. So we're going to go with a crafted amulet, and that's actually not that hard to come by. I've seen the crafted amulets spawn with that quite a few times. So we're going to get that level 5, 8% chance on the amulet as well. To combine together with the 25% chance to cast Nova on the War Strikes, and then we've got what is a 10% chance to cast level 16 Lightning on striking with the Wisp Rings, which is actually going to be a 20% chance if we use 2 of these. So by using 2 of these, we're going to be able to stack that percent chance even higher. Which goes to 20%. So we have a 20% chance to cast level 16 Lightning, a 25% chance to cast level 9 Nova, and then with the amulet, we'll have a 8% chance to cast level 5 Chain Lightning. So it'll be a nice little combination of effects. We're also going to want a decent amount of on-hit damage. Now, I struggled with deciding whether or not I was going to go with, like, multiple elements or whether I was going to go with a single element. And I ended up deciding on going with a single element. And I think the reason for this is that we're pretty much just going to use Dreams. I think Dreams is the best way to go with this because Dreams gives us a huge amount of elemental lightning damage. It also gives us an AoE effect as well, which will go quite well along with the setup. So we're going to do like, let's see, Bone Visage. And then we're going to grab a Dream Shield as well. So we're going to double up Dream Shield and Dream Helmet. We got a Monarch Shield. That still leaves us open with the boots, gloves, armor, and of course we also still need to decide what we want on the amulet, and then all of the charm slots, which we're going to figure out. And then on top of that, we're also going to be utilizing a Mercenary too, which we're gonna try and get that to our best effect as well. First off, let's go ahead and craft an amulet. So I know what modifiers you can potentially get on an amulet, so let's just go ahead and create one. I'll pull from a real amulet first, and then we'll kind of just like mess around with it a little bit. So we should have crafted amulet, caster amulets. So let's just pull in one. It doesn't really matter which one. And we're going to edit it. So what do we have on this amulet? We've got 14 to maximum mana. This is a barbarian amulet. It's got all resistances 20 on it. Caster level barbarian. So let's change that to sorceress. It's got 10% faster cast rate on it, half freeze duration. Alright, let's just add a line in here. It doesn't really matter because all we need is just an amulet that has the effect on it. So we're going to go attack. Or is it not? Wait, no. That's skill, sorry. We do skill on hit. And then we're going to do chain lightning. And we're going to follow the sheet, so it's a level 5 at an 8% chance that can potentially spawn on the item. So we got level 5, 8% chance on the amulet. We converted it into a sorceress amulet. It's got some all res on it. This is one that I crafted, so it's something that can definitely occur. So this is a 100% possible amulet. Looks like it's got 20 all res plus 2 skills. It had plus 2 barb skills, but we changed it to plus 2 sorceress skills. Half freeze duration. Hyperion give more block? Yeah, probably. Actually, you know what? You're right. We want lower strength requirement. We don't want something with really high strength requirement. Let's change it into a... Because it's only 3 sockets for Dream, right? Yeah, it's only 3 sockets. So let's change it into we want a lower block because we're probably not going to be building max block. And I think the best one for that is actually... I don't think it's Troll's Nest. It's actually the one below Troll's Nest. It's the Grim Shield. It's Grim Shield. Grim Shield has the, I think it's like the highest defense with the lowest block chance and the lowest stat requirements, and like the whole 9 yards. It's if you're looking for block chance, Hyperion is better. If you're looking to not go with block chance, Grim Shield is better. I have no intention of building like 75% block chance because I'm not going to be building faster blocking. And without faster blocking, you don't want block chance. So if you don't, if it's basically kind of like faster hit recovery. If your faster hit recovery is better, then when it comes to blocking, if blocking slows you down considerably, it can get you killed. So you end up going with a lower block chance armor versus a higher block chance armor. Let's make sure she's set to 3. All right, I'm going to export that too because I should have a Grim Shield option in the list. All right, then from here we need boots, armor, and gloves. What do we do for the boots, armor, and gloves? Let's take a look at the unique armor plates and see if there's anything that could help us with this particular build. We'll also go over the runewords too. I'm gonna kind of like just play around with everything. All right, so probably none of the normal difficulty ones. Those are not gonna be very good. Nightmare, nothing too fancy. I mean, just trying to like get myself some ideas here. I'm thinking. Could also be a rune word too. We might have to think about all the rune words as well. Although it might not be a rune word or unique armor, we might be looking at a J-mod armor as our best piece for as much negative resistance as we can get. We also do need speed, unfortunately. That might be something that we want to check real quick. I don't think any of these unique armors are going to be good for what we're trying to do. Let's pull up an IAS calculator for D2R. And let's go to Sorceress. Throw. It's going to be the Warstrike, which is a winged knife. And I do believe Warstrike has IAS on it, doesn't it? It's 30% IAS. Yeah, it's 30% IAS on Warstrike. Where's the where do I put that in? I guess this is just the table right here. So this is the table that we're looking at. So we're looking at with 30% IAS that's on the weapon, we should already be sitting at 13 frames, which means that we need an additional what is that? 10, 20, so 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, 60 to 70, 70 to 78. So about 50% IAS. So assuming we have a decent pair of gloves that gives us at least 20% IAS, we're looking at a decent IAS bonus there, which means we still need an additional 30% IAS to reach whatever the breakpoint is. I mean, at least with the 20% IAS gloves, so 29, 39, 49. So at least with the 20% IAS gloves, we're hitting the 48 to 12 frame breakpoint. But to hit the next breakpoint after that, we would need what, 3? Yeah, we would need 30% more IAS to hit the next breakpoint from there. Kind of limited on equipment, unfortunately. We could, of course, go with a Faith Merc, which would give us what was that, like level 15 fanaticism, and then we need no IAS. But actually, that's not a bad idea. Because if we go with enchant, we can enchant the Mercenary, which of course we're going to go with enchant. You can enchant the Mercenary, and then the Mercenary would get a rather nice bonus too. So we go with the Fire Merc using a fanaticism bow. then we don't even really need IAS. Then it's just a matter of attack rating, and we're gonna need a decent amount of attack rating, unfortunately. Probably more than I would like, which means we may have to stack dexterity to a certain degree. Unfortunately, crushing blow just doesn't really work very well on ranged items. I've done a whole crushing blow test system, like messing around with crushing blow on ranged, and while it certainly is there, it just doesn't really have quite the effectiveness that it should. Hmm. 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 Trying to think here. I mean, if we did go with treachery, we would hit the maximum breakpoint for sure, but I don't really think that's what we want to do. I think honestly, I think what we're left with is a 4-socket armor is our best bet. So we're probably just looking at a 4-socketed armor, like a J mod or something. But even then, we could just pull in a just like not even an elite base. Let's go with an exceptional like mage plate, and let's just give it 4 sockets. So let's see, socketed, remove sockets. Socketing, make item socketed. There we go. No, it's still got. No, that's right, because Mage Plate only has 3. So that's not gonna work. Mage Plate only has 3 sockets. What am I doing? Um, proc gloves. I was thinking about gloves, but I'm not really sure if there's any gloves that can actually give me the procs that I'm looking for. So I'm kind of focusing with lightning damage. And I mean, we can take a look real quick through the unique gloves just to be sure. And then we'll also take a look at some other stuff real quick too, like the modifiers. But I don't think there's anything really from the unique gloves that I'd be super interested in. So I thought about Enlightenment, and I kind of dismissed Enlightenment out of hand because of the large number of synergies required to make the fireball useful. It's a little difficult to make the fireball useful without a pretty huge synergy investment, which is part of the issue. Hellmouth War Gauntlets, same thing. They have a meteor proc chance, which is very low, but again, also very difficult to make that useful. I mean, it would get some bonus from the fire mastery, but it wouldn't be nearly enough. It needs there's way too many synergy bonuses between fireball and like the other stuff. Let's see here. So Fireball gets 3 synergies from basically 3 different abilities. So 16% from Firebolt, 5% from Meteor, and 3% from Hydra. And then you also have to spend points into the Fire Mastery itself. So you're left with basically nothing. Like if you would have to dump points in basically everything, and then also you're getting enchant, and also you'd have to get warmth because you need warmth to beef up enchant, and so forth and so on. And by the time you're done, you've spent all of your points in the fire tree, and I just don't really think it's worth it. I'm gonna move on from the idea of multi elementaling this. It's gonna be a single element. What about like affixes? Let's take a look at affixes real quick. I want to see what affixes can roll on a pair of gloves, and what we're looking at as far as like effects go. So there should be some like effects. Maybe I don't know if there's chain lightning. Let's see. Chain lightning does not spawn on gloves. Lightning does not spawn on gloves. Nova does not spawn on gloves. These are the like attack abilities. Hmm. So you've got like circlets, amulets, daggers. Melee throwing weapons, amulets. This is when struck, which is not anywhere near as useful. We need on, this is on attack, Ice Bolt. Again, melee throwing weapons. This one's Wind Struck, which isn't very useful. Again, the melee throwing weapons. Hydra Wind Struck, that's amulets. The only one that goes on amulets is the Chain Lightning Wind Struck on attack. That's the only one. So amulets are basically one of the only options. Rings, we already consumed that with the Wisp projectors, so that doesn't help us. Melee and throwing weapons. So yeah, we're kind of just stuck with the only option as amulets. So if this is the case, then we're pretty much just looking at using these items for utility for the character, which is we want a relatively low armor, or sorry, strength requirement armor that doesn't look like a hobo armor. I don't like the hobo armors. Which one do we want to choose? Let's take a look at the armor dojanks real quick. So armor, look, D2R. There's like a whole armor guide here. Hold on. Let me pull it up on stream. This is the armor guide. So we want to look at sorceresses. All the elite bases are, they only, it looks like you're naked. Every single one of them just looks like you're naked. God, why can't I just like zoom in on this? It's next to impossible to see this image because of how they have it on the stupid website. Like I need to zoom in so I can actually see what they look like. Oh, it looks like Wormhide. Wormhide is okay looking. Wormhide, Wire Fleece. Wormhide or Wire Fleece. I'm not sure which one. I think Wormhide. Wormhide looks okay. We'll use Wormhide. Alright, so we need a 4-socket Wormhide. And what are we going to put in the 4-socket Wormhide? We're going to put lightning facets, obviously. So our uniques, jewels, lightning facet, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be some of our negative res that we need to kind of make this character work. It's only 20%, but we really aren't going to get negative res from any other sources. We're using the dreams, which is part of an issue here because we obviously have a lot of negative res, or a lot of our negative res options are consumed. So War Strikes consumes one of our negative res items. The Dream Helm and the Dream Shield consume 2 of our negative res options. So basically the only option we have left is Wormhide. That's the only negative res option we have left. At least we don't look completely like a hobo like Dust Shroud. Dust Shroud makes us look even more hobo-ish. Booties. What do we want for booties? I feel like adding in open wounds to this build is not a bad thing in any shape or form. So if we threw some open wounds on this build by throwing in, you know, our beautiful open wound booties, that's certainly not going to be a bad thing. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's just grab the, let's just grab our Gore Riders. That way she has open wounds, which is the most important thing. She also has 50% deadly strike on the weapon, which is combined with the 15% on the boots. That's a nice 65% deadly strike, which certainly isn't terrible either. She should be life leeching and mana leeching fairly effectively. Speaking of life leech and mana leech, she has none. Right? There's no life leech or mana leech on the weapon. There's no life leech or mana leech on either the helmet or the shield or the armor or the rings. We can get life and mana leech on an amulet. So let's say that we're gonna modify this a little bit more. So we're gonna take away this one-handed, two-handed damage bullcrap, and we're gonna change this to a little bit of life leech. That way we can have some dual leechiness on this character. So let's go steel, life leech. Let's do like a 7% life leech. And then let's do another steel, and then we'll do mana leech. We'll do like a 6% mana leech. That way we have a dual leech amulet, essentially. Deal the booty wounds? That's right, booty wounds. Booty, 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 booty in the air. Booty, 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 don't care. All right, so we do need at least 20% IAS. If we don't have 20% IAS, we won't hit the breakpoint. So we need 20% IAS gloves. I'm thinking crafted hit gloves because they have the knockback. So we go, I'll see if I got any in here. I do not have any in here. Huh. We might have to craft some real quick. Hold on. Let's actually have her craft up some, and we'll just pick like the best pair. So what's the blood recipe? So or is it 2-hit? Hit gloves. That should be the name of it, right? I can't remember when I made the shortcut. The Twitch bot is faster. I could always just look up the recipe. I can't remember what the combo was to activate the bot. I remember it's like not vampire bone, but the what's the other one? Braces. It's the braces, and then it's a sapphire. And I can't remember the gem right off the top of my head. Hit power gloves. There we go. Oh. It's probably hit power then. So it's probably hit power instead of hit. So hit power gloves. Because they have power in there, so I probably put in power into the list. But that's okay, I got it. All right. So let's just add in a bunch of crap that we can craft with. It doesn't really matter. We're going to add the Ort runes and stuff. We'll just copy up a little set here so we can craft up the gloves. So we need blue. She can just gamble them, actually. So she can gamble the gloves. That'll be fine. And I can put in what we need for actually crafting them. Alright, so it's the Ort rune. Let's just go ahead and put a bunch of Ort runes in here. And then we need, of course, a random jewel of any kind. It doesn't really matter what it is. I'm going to put something absolutely stupid in here so you guys can cringe as I craft away with these items. What else do we need? We need the Ort rune, we need the jewel, and we need the perfect sapphire. That's right. Gems, a perfect sapphire. Save. All right. 1, 2. Look at those beautiful 15% IAS jewels that I'm going to craft with because I'm lazy and I don't want to go get anything different. And we hero edited all this stuff in anyway, so it doesn't even matter. Come on, I need some chain gloves. Chain gloves, please. Chain gloves, please. I said chain gloves, please. Keith, if you don't give me some chain gloves, I'm going to pop you in the eye. You want to get pop in the eye? Because that's how you get pop in the eye. Pop in the eye, pop in the eye. Go and get a pop in the eye. Oh, a dang old pop in the eye. Go and get a pop in the eye. Pop in the eye, pop in the eye. Go and get a pop in the eye. Better give me some chain gloves before you get a pop in the eye. Pop in the eye, pop in the eye. Gonna get a pop in the eye. Why you don't want to give me no chain gloves? Gonna get a pop in the eye. Heavy bracers. Okay, that's what we needed. Oh yeah, I forgot. You can't keep rebuying the item. Oh, this is gonna take forever. Chain gloves. Yeah. Man, it's gonna take forever. As long as I get one crafted, though, that's really all I need. I just need the one, actually. Now that I think about it, and then I can just edit the item. So let's just go ahead and craft it, and we can just go ahead and modify this from here. So let's just, you know what? We don't even need all this junk. Because we got our knockback gloves, that's really all we needed. Now that we got the gloves crafted, we can play around with them and change the settings a little bit. Have I ever played Titan Quest? I think I played it a long time ago. Alright, so in the cube are the gloves. Boop. Let's go ahead and export these since I don't have a crafted pair of these gloves in the list. Alright, general edits. Alright, let's see what they have on them, and then we'll go from there. So we've got increased attack speed. They need to be 20% IAS. So that's like the first thing. We got poison length reduced. I mean, that's nice, but I would have rather had 75%. It got the Frost Nova proc Windstruck, which was kind of interesting. Not exactly a terrible thing. We really need like some dual leech or something on these too. That would be great. So let's do that as well because we don't have leech from pretty much any other source. So let's just do some dual leech. I believe you can only get what, like 3/3 on these. So they can only be like 3/3 leech for a non-blood pair of gauntlets. So we'll grab 3/3. We've got the knockback, the IAS, and then the Frost Nova proc. We got defense based on character level. That's kind of interesting. And then defense doesn't really matter, but we could just throw some enhanced defense on there. Let's say they rolled with like 177 enhanced defense or something. And then resistances. A lot of the times when you're looking at these, you're looking for resists. So we can throw in like, I don't know. I'm not sure. We need lightning resistance. So let's say they rolled with like 30 lightning res. And now we have ourselves an interesting pair of dual leech, 20% IAS, knockback gloves, which is what we need for this. We need knockback gloves. The Dream Shield disappeared. I wonder why the Dream Shield disappeared. Something wrong with it? There could be something wrong with it. Let's double check. 3 sockets. Grim Shield. Everything seems to be okay. Not sure why that one deleted itself. All right, now we need charms. So we definitely are going to have a one lightning sunder in here. So we're going to have a crack of the heavens. That's going to be a thing. We are relatively low on attack rating because of this build. So one of the things that we might actually need to pull in with this build is just attack rating in general. Raw attack rating. Enchant is going to help us out tremendously, don't get me wrong. But the problem with Enchant is that it doesn't really give you any raw attack rating. So we're going to need to pull in raw attack rating small charms. That's probably going to be our best bet. And we could either go with like 320/20s or we could go with just AR charms. I think there's like some straight ARs in here. Where is the... I can't remember what the attack rating modifier is called. Steel Charm of Balance. 36 AR, 5% faster hit recovery. That's basically what we're looking for. We're gonna grab a couple of these. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We might need more than that. I'm not sure. Not really sure what our attack rating is going to be, to be perfectly honest. We're also going to want to pull in lightning damage germs, too. That's another interesting thing that we're going to be using here. So, lightning damage germs are going to give us on-hit lightning damage. And we're going to want as many of those as we can get as well. It's going to be kind of similar to the way that my Thor Barbarian is set up, but instead of attacking directly, I'm going to be throwing an item, which should be interesting. Where is the lightning ones at? I know there's a lightning one here. It's what? Sapphire is cold. Ruby is no, that's resistances. Cold damage, lightning damage. There it is. All right, so we're gonna pull in a bunch of these. Let's put in a bunch more of these too, and we can balance it out like what we need. So let me just like pull in a bunch in here. So we can use them for balancing purposes, whether we need more lightning or whether we need more AR. I'm not exactly sure where that's going to go. We're going to use the Faith Bow on the Mercenary. So let's grab a Faith Bow. And I'll just do a Grand Matron Bow. That's fine. Mercenary is probably going to be set up for... Well, she's not going to have Pierce, which is unfortunate. That kind of sucks. Because Faith Bow doesn't have any Pierce on it. And that pretty much means that we kind of have to throw a Wisdom Helmet on her, so at least she has some Pierce. It's kind of a terrible choice for a Mercenary, but it makes sense if you think about it from a damage output perspective, because we want her to be able to pierce and hit multiple targets. So we're probably just going to have to throw a Wisdom on her. What is Wisdom? Why does my Twitch window keep minimizing itself? I don't understand. I'm trying to pay attention to chat on both things. My Twitch window just keeps minimizing itself for no reason. We're going to have to make a Wisdom because I don't have one in here. Because I'm a pleb. A plebeian. Helmets. Elite. We need an Ethereal Bone Visage. It's a Pull if Eld. If Eld. Alright. Pull if Eld. And then for her armor, what the hell do we put for her armor? Probably just something for speed, right? Something to help keep her alive. Well, she needs life leech. Yeah, that's right. She needs life leech because she's using. Well, actually, does Faith have any life leech on it? Can't even remember. It does not have any life leech. There is no life leech on Faith. Okay, and there's no life leech on Wisdom either. So we're left with a life leech armor, and there's really not a lot of good choices for life leech armor. We already have open wounds on ourselves, which isn't really that big of a deal. But if she had open wounds too, it wouldn't be terrible. So maybe we just give her a... let's just give her a Chains of Honor. I don't know. Just, yeah, whatever. Chains of Honor. Go. Alright. That pretty much covers everything, I think. I think we're good. Let's go ahead and copy her over, and let's see how that works. Tolsma. We need to find Tolsma. And now we get to boot up the game. What's up, Dragos? Yeah, I was watching Dr. Stone the other day, and the currency in Dr. Stone is called the Dragos, which I thought was kind of hilarious. And I thought of you when I heard Dragos. The Dragos. Alright, we have our Tosme character. Of course, she can't actually equip any of this. So the Dream Shield disappears. We're going to have to fix that, because we obviously can't do this without the Dream Shield. If the Dream Shield that we created isn't working, the easiest way to fix this is just simply to add a Dream Shield into the game that we can create of our own volition. Sometimes this occurs, especially when you're messing around with stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, I use this, these are my characters I use for just like editing in random items. So we're just going to take this, and we're just going to add in a socketed shield, and we'll just do it manually. This is why I have all of this stuff ready, because you never know how or what or why, or like just nothing really makes any sense in terms of like what's going on with some of this stuff, so you kind of just have to play around with it. As a Grim Shield, and we need to edit the sockets. Other sockets, 3, save. And then we need the Dream Runes, so we're going to add the Dream Runes in manually. We're actually not going to create it here because something's going on with the creation system. So every time it tries to create the Dream Rune word in that specific base, it's not working. So we're just going to take the Dream Rune word and we're going to add it manually. I know there's a Jaw rune in Dream. I'm pretty sure there's an Ist rune in a Dream. I think it's Jaw Ist something. Yeah, it's like IO. Oh no, it's IO Jaw Pull. Okay, there's no Ist. I remembered completely wrong. I think I was thinking of Delirium. Delirium has an Ist rune in it. IO Jaw. At least I got the Jaw right. Pull. Okay, save. Let's copy him over as well. This will help you out a lot in the future, by the way, if you guys are ever trying to get through stuff. I'm going to show you a really simple trick, okay? It's really simple. Click anywhere on the window so that you have something highlighted. And then use your finger and press the letter that you want to go to. Just type one letter. So type G as an example, or type V as an example. It will automatically take you to the V's or the G's or whatever letter you type in as soon as you type in that letter. So in this particular case, I wanted to go to video items 3, which is the character that we made the item on. And so I would just type in the letter V. It's really helpful for when you have a lot of files in a destination to be able to instantly go to whatever you're looking for. Like if I want to go to S, I can just type in S, or I can type in P, or I could type in Q. There is no Q. So see, there's no Q. It gave me an error message. W, and so forth and so on. How's my little shoulder monster? They're doing just fine. He's staring at me right now through the cage of bars. I think he wants a treat. Or he wants Cody to come play with him. Cody! Cody! Goobus! Chinchilla wants to play with you. Cody, come here. Come here. Dude, he must be out. He's been sleeping all day. I don't know why he's asleep now. I bet you if I crinkle a bag, he'll show up. Oh, you know what it is? The Grim Shield, I think, can only... Is it only capable of 2 sockets? Is that what it is? So you can't make it in a Grim Shield? You can only make it in a Troll Shield? That's what it is. You can only make it in a Troll Shield. Okay. We gotta redo this real quick. If that's the case, I mean... yeah, I'm stupid. I stupid, okay? I the big dummy. Let's just go runewords, shield, dream. Oops, that was not what I meant to do. Yeah, we got to put it in the troll shield. I forgot about that because it's a 3-socket rune word. It's got to go in the troll shield, not the other. So it's got to be a troll shield. So we got shields, elite, light armor, troll's nest, a 3-socket. There we go. IO, Ja, pull, save. All right, that should work this time. Kind of important to have your dream shields if you're going to do a dream sorceress. All right. Now we can start working on how the character is going to be practically set up, the skills, and pretty much everything else. Cut slice, you're going to find out in a second. Just don't be jumping the gun. So you jump in the gun. Don't be jumping the gun. Can be jumping the gun. Jump, 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 jump. Jumpity, 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 jump, 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 jumpity, 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 jump, jump, jump. What is a dream sorceress? Oh, you're about to find out, Dracos. You're about to find out. All right, so first things first is we need our strength requirements. So it looks like 106 on the Dreambone Visage. That's pretty much our highest. So 106 is our highest strength requirement, like pretty much bar none. Just double checking just to make sure. Yeah. So we need 106 strength. Let's go ahead and pop in that. Alright, so we've got 106 strength. And as you can see, now we have the Holy Shock Aura underneath of our feet. So we've got the level 15 Holy Shock Aura from one dream, combined with the level 15 Holy Shock Aura from the second dream, which gives us a total of level 30 Holy Shock Aura when equipped. So basically, the goal of how this works is you're utilizing the dreams to get damage, both in AoE form around you as a pulse, and also on hit. So notice how our on hit damage has now gone tremendously high. So if I take these off, for instance, you see I only have 1,804. And these are the lightning charms right here, which are also giving me a lot amount of damage. But this isn't how you get most of your damage. So the majority of your damage actually comes from the synergies, and this is why this is so important. So the synergies come from this, which is Lightning Mastery. Lightning Mastery gives a massive damage bump to all lightning damage that you have, no matter where that source of lightning damage comes from. And so we're getting a lightning mastery bump basically to this. So the first thing that we're doing with this build is we're going to be putting 20 points in the lightning mastery bar none. And now notice our damage says 138 to 44,000. So we just went from a meager like 4,000 lightning damage to 44,000 lightning damage. Okay, this is how this whole thing works. Is we're basically utilizing the dreams to get lightning damage. We're utilizing the lightning charms to get lightning damage. And then we're utilizing lightning mastery to enhance that to tremendous proportions. We need the dexterity to wield this too. So we need 132. We're probably going to be putting more dexterity than 132. But we're not doing it just yet. So we'll just play around with this. All right, so we have proccing effects. We've got the proccing effect from War Strikes, which is Nova. We have the proccing effect coming from the Wisp Projector, which is Lightning. And we have a second Wisp Projector, which is also Lightning. And then on top of that, we also have the Dreams, which is going to give us more lightning damage that way. So we basically got 1, 2, 3, 4 proccing effects, plus the, obviously, the on-hit damage, and then the AoE effect. So it should work out pretty well here. The next thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to get enchant for the increased AR, because if we can't hit anything, we're not going to dish out any damage. So we're going to go ahead and pump 1, 2, and we're going to max out enchant. We're not going to touch warmth for the moment. Warmth is the synergy for enchant, but I don't know exactly how many points we're going to have left once we mess around with the synergies for a lot of this stuff. So let's play around with the synergies for these abilities first. All right, so first off, we have our Nova, which Nova has a synergy in static field, which is that's the only synergy that Nova has besides Lightning Mastery. So if we want to enhance the Nova that's on the throwing dagger, we're going to have to beef up static field. That's 20 points. We also have the lightning procs coming from the Wisp projectors. Now, the lightning procs from the Wisp projectors actually has 4 synergies, so it's probably going to be impossible to max this out, but we're going to do our best here. So let's go ahead and grab teleport first, because you know we're going to want teleport. And there's no reason not to grab energy shield, so we're going to at least put 1 point in energy shield. We basically have no use for mana, so there's no reason not to grab energy shield, because we really just don't really care one way or the other what happens to our mana. We do, however, like, we're going to need some HP, so we're going to figure that out. Now we have 61 points left, and once we have 61 points left, let's see. We definitely want frozen armor and 1 point in cold mastery for defensive purposes. And then we have 59 points to distribute as we want. So Charge Bolt gets 4%, or sorry, Chain Lightning gets 4% from Charge Bolt, and Lightning gets 8% from Charge Bolt. So it makes the most sense to pump up Charge Bolt, because Charge Bolt affects both Lightning and Chain Lightning, which are 2 abilities that we have. Then from there, Lightning is going to be the stronger of the 2, because it's going to be a level 16 Lightning, whereas the Chain Lightning is only level 5. So the Chain Lightning is going to be the Lightning is going to be the higher damage output of the 2 abilities. So Chain Lightning is probably where we want to dump 20 more points. And then from there, we have 21 points left over, which we could jump into Static Field. I'd like to get the Nova as high as damage as I can. So we're going to dump 20 points in the Static Field, which leaves us with basically 1 point left over. Which we might as well just throw in Telekinesis so we can get the additional damage reduction on the energy shield. And then we go 1, 2, buckle my shoe. Let's go ahead and put teleport on our main click. We need our Mercenary too. I forgot about that.
Welcome.
Let's grab our Mercenary. We want a Fire Merc. What we got? Megan, Sharon, Isolde. I like Isolde. Alright. Let's grab her Faith Bow. She gets a Wisdom, which I can't remember the Wisdom rune word off the top of my head. It's Pull If Eld. I think it's in that order. I don't really remember.
I'll put that to good use.
Just want to make sure I get the order right so I don't have to reload the character in. Guess I could just scroll up, since the bot's being slow. Slow bot is slow. I bet you the frickin' I bet you the Twitch bot puts it up, yeah, immediately. Yeah, it literally was immediate. Alright, pull Itheld down. Pull Itheld. Alright. So the reason why we're putting this on her is so she has 33% piercing attack, because Faith does not have piercing attack. Chains of Honor. There's no armors that have piercing attack. We can't put the Razor Tail on her. So we want her to have piercing attack because we're going to be giving her our enchant anyway, which is going to be helpful to her. So let's put that on like F3. Alright, so now she has our enchant. We have our enchant, which means we have a throw damage of 3,594. Not the most amazing. We do have 382 stat points left, though, which we can play around with. And you know what I forgot to do? I did forget to do that. Forgot to put 1 point in Fire Mastery. All right, hold on. Let's take this to. I have a different version of the game that I can run that'll give me infinite respecs. So let me pull up the infinite respec version. That way we can get infinite respecs and we can play around with this a little bit. 1 point in Fire Mastery is kind of mandatory for this. I don't know why I forgot to put 1 point in Fire Mastery, but we definitely want to throw 1 point in Fire Mastery.
Not in town.
All right, so now we can just respec at will. All right, so again, bring up our strength to 106. Bring up our dexterity. And then our points. Let's do that one more time. So 1 point, 1 point. Max, 1 point. Max. And then from here we do max, max. And I'm kind of conflicted on whether or not I should do the chain lightning, but I guess we probably still should do the chain lightning. All right, so we got 1 point, 1 point. We've got lightning. We've got our little. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So at this point, it's pretty much just chain lightning. Why Fire Mastery? Because 1 point in Fire Mastery gives us a level 7 Fire Mastery, which will enhance enchant. There's no reason not to pull 1 point in Fire Mastery, and there's no reason not to pull 1 point in Cold Mastery, because Cold Mastery will tremendously affect Frozen Armor, and Fire Mastery will tremendously affect enchant. It's just a huge damage bump for 1 point. We're talking about like efficiency, basically. And when it comes to efficiency, that's the kind of crazy stuff that you look at is. You wanna see like, well, what is 1 point gonna get me? And if 1 point can get me, this much of whatever, then that's what I want. I want as many of those points as I can get of those things that are gonna give me the most effectiveness for a single point. I need a lightning thunder. I'm gonna steal a lightning thunder from Stormhowl. Thief. Yoink. All right, what's our faster hit recovery at? We're sitting at... Where are you at now? 117. Wow, that's like way more than I thought. Alright, so we've got our AR charms, we've got our lightning damage charms. We need to fix our AR. That's another issue. So let's go ahead and cast up. And we're going to get our AR into a place where it's actually useful. So unfortunately, this means we're probably going to have to stack Dexterity. Dexterity gives us 5 AR per point, which is going to be a pretty massive boon with the bonus that we're getting from AR. Or enchant. We probably should have an enchant swap set, now that I think about it. We do. We need an enchant swap set. Let's, I'm trying to think, like, what we would use for an enchant swap set. We could probably just go over to my enchant sorceress and steal her enchant swap set. That would probably work just fine. Her name is Flaming Cheeto. Flaming Cheetos. It's not just an enchant swap set. It's also just a swap set in general, which is going to help, like, with everything that you're precasting. So it's going to help with our energy shield. It's going to help with the freezing armor, and it'll help with the enchant. So we kind of want it to help with everything, basically. And I didn't think about that before I made the character. Alright, so she needs swappy gear. What do you got here? Okay. an Oculus, that works good. Oculuses are just +3, which is perfectly fine. I really don't want to use a Spirit, because +2 skills on the Spirit, while it's certainly nice, it would require me to dump more points into Dexterity or Strength, and I don't really want to have to do that. What are my other options for a decent swap set? What if we went with an Ethereal Spirit instead? We could do an Ethereal Spirit. That actually might work. Let's grab one of the... I should have an Ethereal Spirit on the Iron Wolves. That would take down the Strength requirement by 10. We're not actually going to be using the Spirit, so it doesn't really matter. We're just going to swap to it, cast, and swap back. So for the most part, it should just be a matter of swoopy swaps. Where is your Spirit Shield, you little turd? You don't got one? Got a Spirit Crystal Sword in there. Lidless only has +1 skills, but yeah, that's another option. I mean, I'm sure I've got one of those sitting around here somewhere. It's just a pre-buff anyway, so... let's see here. Unique Arbors. I got so many different characters. Disciple set, Vidala set. My mana burn tester. Unique maces, unique helmets. Unfortunately, these are always arranged by the last time I use them, which doesn't really help me out very much when I'm trying to look for them. That's Paladin shields. That doesn't help me out at all. Unique shields. There it is.
Good day.
I just don't want to have to increase my my strength. And there's really not a lot of good options for shields, though. Of course, this is the wrong one. Let's just go with the Ethereal Monarch. It'll be all right. We get one more skill. It'll help out with the AR a little bit. We need the attack rating too. So, like, it's just, I guess we just go with it. It'll be fine. I'll just steal an Ethereal Monarch. That way we can lower the strength requirement by at least 10, which isn't too terrible. That way we can get a little bit better out of the character. We'll just have to reset again. All right. Now, another option for tank ability is we could just choose to drop 20 into telekinesis, which would help us a lot for tanking, but it would lower our damage output on the lightning procs. We would lose, what is that, 8% per 19 points. So if we did that, like, what we can do is we'll do it the damage output way first, but if it turns out that we need more damage output, or we don't need more damage output, or maybe we're not tanky enough, we could potentially go with this option to increase telekinesis instead, and we'll play around with that. So we're still going to dump it that way. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 3. Alright, so we're at 4,122 AR, which is god-awful. Let's go ahead and dump in a decent amount of HP so we don't get our booty cheeks clapped. About 650. We're going to throw in some mana too. We're just going to even these out basically. And then we're going to take the rest and we're going to throw it into Dex. which still only brings us to 5,565. Unfortunately, that AR is absolutely god-awful. Okay, so we're going to have to scrimp lightning damage charms. Let's pull in some more AR charms. Let's see how that does. 7,109. That's terrible. Attack rating is so bad with the way that this character is set up. I don't know any way to fix this. We definitely would need some AR somewhere. What's the point in mana? I'm using Energy Shield. Energy Shield consumes damage that comes in and converts it into damage to mana, which will basically just give me more life. I'm basically utilizing the mana for no other purpose other than to make myself more survivable. Alright, let's test out the character real quick just to see how she rolls, and then we're gonna go from here. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna need more AR, but let's play around with it anyway. This is Hell difficulty. What player count are we on? We're on P1. Okay. Alright, looks like we need to bump these rookie numbers up because P1 ain't cutting it. Let's go to P8. If you're subscribed on Twitch, there's no ads at all. If you sub on Twitch, I have it set up so it'll take the ads away. It's about the best I can do, unfortunately. Where do you want to go? Let's go to Canyon of the Magi. There's lightning immunes there. So I'm definitely noticing the AR problem. So the attack rating, I notice sometimes when I throw I'm just missing. So I'm just missing entirely, which is unfortunate. But the damage output is certainly not terrible. I mean, this is P8. This isn't P1. I mean, I'm doing pretty good for P8. Sin Bang. Alright, we have to solve the attack rating issues. And that's like the main thing that we're running into a problem with here, is the attack rating issues. Because we're not hitting half the time. So like even though we're piercing and we're going through multiple targets, it's just a lot of the times we're missing. Like even with our attack rating at 9,015, I mean it. Let's see. Also, I need the crusher. Give me the crusher. Come here. No, it just still says we have a 95% chance to hit the crusher. 9,000 is still relatively low, but. Oh no, my mercenary. I don't think she was doing anything anyway. Other than the fanaticism making you throw faster. How's my stacks holding up? I got 89 out of 300. Ah, some lightning immunes. That's what I was hoping for. The knockback is super helpful. It's keeping them from getting in touch with me, which is really nice. I'm also getting pretty good procs on the effects. So we're getting a lot of Novas and Lightnings. Steel Scarab's dying pretty fast. See if we can just hang by here by the door. We got our Nova procs. Our lightning's going off pretty effectively. I see our chain lightning's going off every now and then too, which is certainly not terrible. Oh no, I broke my weapon. So this one replenishes. It's just a matter of time. But what you could do is you could have a secondary set. I mean, they're small enough. You could easily have a secondary War Strike that's not ethereal, or maybe like just 2 ethereal War Strikes, one in your stash and one in your, or one in your cube and one on you, so that you can worry about them like regenerating. The regeneration rate is okay. I mean, it's not like super crazy, but it does have a 300 quantity stack, which is a lot. Let's see if there's some other monster types in here.
I can't.
Is he lightning enchanted? He's lightning enchanted. Okay, that makes sense.
I can't. I can't. Impossible.
Now, alternatively, you could always, in this situation, switch over to melee attacks, and you could just stab. And it would also technically work. It wouldn't degrade as quickly with melee. Obviously, you're not really set up for melee, which is an issue. So, you might end up getting your booty cheeks clapped. Booty cheek Jones, booty cheek Jones. I think we should have prepared a second War Shreks over the first. We should have prepared 2 War Shreks, is what we should have done. Is this Dual Dreams with a throw weapon? Dual Dreams I put in there, and I don't even know if maybe I should take it out. Like, I kind of feel like I might get better results if I took out the Dual Dreams. I'm not entirely sure. I'm still contemplating whether or not the Dual Dreams are like the best option. I mean, if I take the Dual Dreams off, I do lose, obviously, a bunch of my damage. But at the same time, I also could put on something like, plus skills. I could grab like a spirit or something. I could put on a Griffin's Eye for more negative resistances. I could do a lot of different things. I can go with plagues on like a mercenary for negative resistance there. The main issue that I'm thinking about with Infinity is I don't think he's going to be able to stay alive on his own. And he has to be within range to apply the conviction, which basically means it's useless. Same thing with plague. Maybe throw speed's not really the best deal when I'm dishing. Obviously, I have a limited supply. I do like the pulse damage, though. The pulse damage is nice. Changing to the to P8 definitely showed me that like it's a little bit shy of P8 territory. Oh yeah, I forgot. Got that thick poison going straight through my energy shield. That's one of the biggest issues with energy shield sorceresses. So maybe Plague would be a better choice. Just so I could get the low resistance proc and then also have the cleansing to completely cancel out the poisons. Gear check. We're in a theory craft commander replay. Like this is, like that's literally what we've been doing for the entire video. The whole video is a gear check. Yeah, let's edit ourselves in a second Ore Strike so we can let them regenerate. I want to see how it works. Like if I completely exhaust a War Strike, how long would it take before like how much would I get out of the War Strike before I completely get a second, a second one broken or the first one broken or whatever, right? So we're gonna play around with this real quick. We'll throw in two of them so I've got enough that I don't have to worry about it. This might be one of those things, especially with throwing items, that you need literally a you need literally like a little arsenal sitting in your cube, ready at any given time. Wrong character. Let's not do this one. Let's do just do video items 3. And let's just pull in multiple war strikes. Alright, unique items. Throwing. Where's that? Am I in the right place? Yeah, I'm in the right place. It's just, oh yeah, it's weapons, then throwing. Elite. And then another war strike. Let's grab 3 war strikes. Let's also swap over to... Let's swap over to a beautiful, beautiful Act 5 Mercenary. Kind of want to try out the Act 5 Merc. Where's Plague? There we go. Plague. I'm gonna do dual Plague. Dual Plague, boys. Dual Plague. We're gonna do dual Plagues in 2F. What? It doesn't fit there. Fits there. Fits. Don't need that in there anymore. Dude. She's got a COA on her. We'll use the COA and then I'll just give her a helmet. Him a helmet. Let's just go, all he needs to do is stay alive. I'm not really worried about anything else. If he doesn't stay alive, he's not useful to me. So we need bulwark. D2R Rune Wizards Hero Editor? Yeah, I've done videos on it. I'm just more familiar with this one. It just works better for me because I've spent so long working on this particular setup, but I haven't really spent the time to get used to the D2R Rune Wizard one yet. I've done a video on it. I've already got it up on the channel, but I am doing speed editing, and it's a little bit slower and more roundabout to go that direction, which is, I mean, it's all right, I guess. I'm trying to go fast. Gotta go fast. With that one, you gotta upload the file and then download the file and then put the file in the location, and it's a little bit more involved. All right. So now we have alternative extras, right? So we've got extras that we can sit in our cube. And then our extras can slowly regenerate, basically, right? So we can get that regeneration thing going on. Let's go ahead and pull this. Let's go ahead and replace her with the Act 5 merc. Gutuluf. Hey, I don't even know how to pronounce that one. Good old Ulrich. Ulrich von Liechtenstein. If you don't get the Ulrich von Liechtenstein reference, you can just get out of my stream. Just get out. Just leave. Don't come back.
I'll put that to good use.
Don't come back until you know what the Ulrich von Liechtenstein reference is and have watched the movie.
I'll put that to good
Then you're
use.
allowed back in the stream.
I'll put that to good use.
Only then. Don't mess with me. Said my boy Heath Ledger. Don't be messing with my boy Heath Ledger. Alright. Let's try this one more time. That's right. Gelderland, Gelderland, Gelderland. Die. Shing, 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 shing. Haha, you're dead. Dead. A royal shield. Yeah, get him, Merc. Womp, womp, womp. We need to go do cows. That's what we need to do. We need to test this in cows. Moo. Moo, moo, moo. Moo, 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 moo. Moo, moo, moo. Moo, 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 moo. These guys are immune to lightning. Immune to lightning and student. Ha ha. Brr, 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 brr. Get him. We lost attack rating because we lost our faith. Unfortunate. Poor unfortunate souls. We just found a rib cracker. Really? Just found a rib cracker. It's not ethereal. Non-eth rib cracker. A non-eth rib cracker. Rib cracker of non-ethliness. Boop. Alright, P8 cows, here we go.
Greeting. Impossible.
Oh yeah, let me buy one Dujink so we can check out our rib cracker that we found. 240% enhanced. Alright, into the moo cow level we go. Oh yeah, hold on. Will you? Why can't I cast on him? It wouldn't let me cast the spell on him. There we go. Oh, he's immune to lightning? What is he immune? Where is he at? I don't see him in there anymore. Possessed hold all lines, steel burn the flare over here. That's a big champion pack and elite pack in there. That was a pretty good test. The possessed have really high reduction in damage reduction too. Not a normal pack by any means. Got your first character to level 99 today. Congrats, eBear. Congratulations. Oh no, we broke one. So this is where we swap. Let that one regenerate. Deathwight the Tainted. Deathwight the hit him in the face with my daggers. Cow King's immune to lightning. Still gonna kill him anyway. Let's see if we can corral these guys a little bit better. Get better damage output by getting more pierces. Is it a Talzami? Is it a Talzami? Is it a Tals? Uh-huh. Alright, I kind of want to see what this like is on P1 too, obviously, because this is P8 right now. This is the hardest difficulty. We're not exactly flying through the cows on P8, but it's still P8 cows, so let's bring this down to a little bit more of a reasonable level, like P3. A superior mat bow. Okay.
Impossible.
What's that? Oh, it's a +2. We gotta check out this amulet. I need an ID scroll. Find me an ID scroll. Perfect. Siverb's icon. I should have guessed. I knew it was you the entire time. Gather, gather, gather. Now, an added benefit of this build that I'm not talking about because we're not testing this, and this is something that we will have to discuss, though, is that I don't necessarily have to only be throwing a weapon. Obviously, I could be using skills, too. The entire goal of this, obviously, is to not use skills. But one thing that I do have maxed out is static field. And that's as a synergy to Nova. So I actually do have a static field as a synergy to Nova. So I can very easily just shink, 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 and then start throwing my weapon. Which is a really big added benefit, obviously, to be able to reduce all the monsters' HP down by half. That way, it's much easier to kill these large packs. So I can find myself a nice pack of monsters. Static, static, static. And then start checking in there. One of the problems with the throwing dagger is that it doesn't go very far. Like, it's got kind of a short range comparatively to, like, the javelins. But let's take it back to P8. Let's add back in the static field, and let's see how that goes. I was thinking about Gimmer Shreds, but Gimmer Shreds would require an entirely different build. Well, this is offline. I'm not worried about holding on to these items. Okay, so here we go. I'm starting to run out, right? I'm down to 15. Let's go ahead and just pull it all the way to the end so they shatter. Alright, so how are my alternatives running right now? So we've got 156 and 76 is what we're currently at. So we take those, throw those over here, start to let those regenerate. I like the Plague Merc a lot better than I like the Bows character. Honestly, I think he's better than the Infinity too. The lower res proc just goes a lot further. It's a lot easier to utilize. Once it procs, it's literally on everything within range for miles. I'll give an example. See, we've got lower res almost instantaneously, and bam. Not bad at all. No, the main problem with Gimmer Shreds is actually not that they don't proc anything, it's the fact that they don't have any Pierce. Pierce is the most important part of this. Without Pierce, you have nothing. So you need to be able to pierce as many times as possible. So the reason why we're using War Strikes is because they have 50% piercing attack. Mainly. That's the main reason. Razor Tail is a 33% pierce, and so with the two, we're sitting at 83% pierce, which isn't like the most amazing thing in the world, but it's decent. And then the combination of that basically means that we can get our proccing effects. So we've got Wisp Projectors giving us proccing effects. We've got proccing effect coming from the amulet. We've got proccing effects coming from the, well, the torch too. But in general, the piercing effect is what's giving us more procs, because we get up to 6 pierces, which gives us more damage output. So as long as you line up properly, like it's just like playing a Javelin. I mean, you line up all the cows properly, and then you get your toss off in a line, and it allows you to get more procs off in that line, which dishes out more damage in general. So you're basically just relying on the fact that you can pierce multiple cows at the same time. Am I at 105 FCR breakpoint? No. Faster cast wasn't even a consideration when making this character. I don't generally consider faster cast when I'm building characters. Mainly because this character is not a caster. It's a throwing character. It's basically a way of making a sorceress that is not a sorceress. You have teleport. I mean, it's there. You can use it if you want to, but for the most part, you're not casting anything. Like, you're not casting lightning, you're not casting chain lightning. You don't even really have to cast static field, but it's there if you want to cast it. The pre-buffs, obviously, who cares about your faster cast for pre-buffing? And I actually have the Swirling Oculus and the Spirit on swap specifically for pre-buffing. So I guess technically when you swap over to that weapon set, you're sitting at... what is that? 75% faster cast rate when you swippy swip over to the Oculus and the Spirit. The only reason I'm using Oculus and Spirit is just for pre-buff. There's probably some better options that I could use, like I guess you could throw in a Hodo if you wanted to, or I'm also using an Ethereal Spirit to bring down the strength requirements, so I don't need 156 strength. So I guess technically you could swap over to the Oculus and the Spirit if you wanted to teleport faster. Or a Hodo and a Spirit, or whatever other abilities, whatever other item you want to put there for pre-buffing. Let's go to Arcane Sanctuary. I want to see Arcane Sanctuary. One issue with this character is attack rating, which we might have to solve. A nice little, like, angelic something. I don't really know if we can do that. Metal grid maybe. Take away plus the skills though. That's right. If you're gonna throw like a barb, tell you like a barb. Barb and Sorceress actually have the same breakpoints, so. So they actually do have the same casting abilities. They actually do already have the same casting ability. Lightning enchanted, okay. Now, another alternative that you could definitely use for this character is whenever you're on a single target, you can also just simply attack. I believe attack is actually faster than throw. So regular attacking also becomes an option if you're fighting just one target. And a rare amulet. We got an identify scroll too. Get out my face. Get out my face. And you know what we should probably do? We should probably do this. Well. There we go. Now we can throw and attack at any time. So we can basically swap back and forth between two. Or you know what, we should probably do it the other way. Let's do it the other way. So we'll have throw on the main click. And then we'll have X will be regular attack. And so if we want to do regular attacks at any point, we can do regular attacks.
I need a key.
Kill that lightning spire, kill that lightning spire, kill that lightning spire, kill that lightning spire. That's pretty good for a lightning spire kill. That's not bad at all. Now we're using the amulet slot to get more proccing effects. We have a proccing effect on the amulet, which is the 8% chance to cast level 5 chain lightning, which is fully synergized and maxed out for damage output. We've got a lot of things going on this character. Like on hit damage, we've got Nova damage, we've got lightning damage. So you can see we're casting lightning all the time. We're also casting chain lightning all the time as well. With the piercing effect, we get a lot more procs, but when we're attacking like this, we get less. So when we throw the dagger, you'll see a lot more procs happen when you're throwing the dagger versus when you're attacking with it. Kind of like the entire point of this build is literally to throw the dagger, so. We also have knockback on the dagger too, on our gloves, so we're running the crafted gloves. So we got a nice pair of 20% IAS gloves with like dual life mana leech, knockback, maybe a little bit of lightning res. They didn't have to be too special. You basically just want them for the knockback. Trying to group up the ghosts. I want to get all the ghosts in one spot. I want to see how fast I can murder like an entire pack of ghosts. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. I haven't been using static the entire time either. I could be popping static and I could dish out a whole bunch of damage to them in advance. Alright, so we're running low on war strikes on this one, so we're gonna swap out. What do we got? A 191, 191, that'll do. Alright, so we swap out between the 191. We just basically keep doing that over and over again. You're just going to swap out between your daggers as necessary. Alright, now for the fun part of the video. Alright, this is the fun part. We're gonna calculate out our damage output. Okay. It's gonna be a little tricky, but let's see if we can do this. Let's see if we can actually calculate out our damage output. So our lightning, which is a level 16 lightning with a 20% chance. We can do some calculations here and we can figure out our lightning damage. So we're running. Let's pull up Amazon Basin. And let's pull up lightning. Alright, so we need to find the level of lightning that we're currently using, which is level 16. So it's always the level of the chance to cast. It's never anything else. So we got 192 lightning damage. Alright, so we're going to multiply this out real quick. We need to find our base increase through the synergies. So we have lightning, which is 8% for basically everything that we have points into. We have 20 hard points into chain lightning, which gives us 8% there. 20 hard points into charge bolt, which is another 8 times 20 there. So we got 8 times 40. And then Nova gives us points, but we don't have any points in that. So we're currently using 8 times 40. So let's go ahead and multiply that. So 8 times 40, which is a 320% bonus. So we take our 192, and we add 320% to that, which is going to give us 806.4. Then we take our Lightning Mastery, which is 350%. So we're going to add 350% to that, which is going to give us a total lightning damage output of 3,628.8. So that's every time that lightning casts. Lightning has a 20% chance to cast. So we've got 10% on the one Wisp Projector, and then we have 10% on the other Wisp Projector. So we're getting a total of a 20% chance to cast a level 16 lightning. The percent chances stack, but the level does not. So, and it also requires that the level be the same. So if you have the same level on the item, the chance to casts will actually combine to a 20%. So we're at a 20% chance to cast level 16 lightning. That's 3,628 per lightning. We also have War Strike, so we have a level 25%. We have 25% chance to cast level 9 Nova. So we need to find the Nova damage as well. So let's find the Nova damage. So our Nova damage is it's a level 9 Nova, so it's not particularly high, but it's decent. So we got a 50 to 85 damage on the Nova. So we're going to have to multiply this. We do have the full synergy for Nova, which is static field, so that's 5 times 20. I don't know why I closed out the calculator. 5 times 20, so we got 5 times 20, which is a 100% increase to its damage output. So that's 50 plus 100%, which is just going to be 100. And then, so we've got 100 to, what is that, 85, 85 plus 100%. That was not correct. I could just do 85 plus 85. It really doesn't matter. Okay, so we got 100 to 170. That's the base. And then we have to add in the 350% multiplier from Lightning Mastery, which is going to give us our bonus. So plus 350%, which is going to give us a total of 765 for the max. And the minimum would be 100 plus 350%, which is going to be 450. So we're looking at 450 to 765 for Nova. That's not all, though, folks. So let's look at Chain Lightning. So Chain Lightning. Chain Lightning is a level 5. Level 5 Chain Lightning. So we need to find level 5 Chain Lightning on the list. So we have a maximum damage of 84%. We need to figure out our synergies for Chain Lightning. So it's 4% per synergy. And we have 20 points in Charge Bolt, which is 20 times 4. We have 1 point in Lightning, which is 21 times 4. And that's it. So we have 21 times 4. So 21 times 4 is 84%. So we take our original damage of 84, and we add 84% to it. And then we add 350% to that, which gives us 695 damage for Chain Lightning. 695 damage for Chain Lightning. Alright, so we have a total proccing output damage of, what is that, 3,628 plus 765 plus 695. That's if everything procs and everything hits at its maximum value. We get 5,088 damage for each proc, right? But we can also hit up to 6 times, so we multiply that times 6, and we get like a maximum damage output of like 30,528. That's assuming that the Lightning, the Chain Lightning, and the Nova all proc 6 times, which is probably never going to happen. But it's still a pretty impressive amount of damage output, especially considering they're all AoE attacks. So Nova is an AoE attack, hits everything within range. Lightning is a straight line AoE attack, which hits everything in a line. Chain Lightning is an AoE attack with bounces between everything and has a total number of hits of 6, so it's going to hit 6 times. So you can take Chain Lightning's number, which was 695, and you can multiply that by 6, because it will bounce 6 times, which means it's going to do 4,170, not 6,195. Even though that 4,170 is going to be spread out across all 6 monsters, it will always bounce 6 times if there are 6 monsters to hit. And that basically means we're going to get even more damage out of that. So let's check that again. So we got, what, 695 plus, or sorry, not 695, 4,170 plus 3,628 plus yes, and then we need 765, so 765. And then you multiply that by 6, so that's more like it, 51,378 damage. So when you're fighting cows, like let's use cows as an example, you throw your War Strike in, your one War Strike, okay? Your one War Strike will pierce through multiple cows. I got an 83% pierce chance, so it's a pretty good chance it's going to go through all of them. And it's going to have a chance to proc every single ability as it goes through all 6 cows. Of course, it's going to vary depending on like how many proc effects happen. I've got a 25% chance for the Nova, a 20% chance for the Lightning, and only an 8% chance for the Chain Lightning. So it's going to vary, right? But I also have an attack rate, which is also got to be calculated into this. So how many War Strikes can I throw within a given second, right? So now we need to figure out what my attack rate is, which we were looking at that earlier in the IAS calculator, which is here. No, not that. Here. So I'm looking at, with no fanaticism, because we took fanaticism away, and I'm running at least, what am I running IAS-wise? I got 20% on there, and I got 30% on here. So I'm looking at very least, I'm looking at, what, 50%? Can I put in, like, my increased attack speed on this, or it just shows me the table? Okay. Well, I'm probably sitting at 12 FPA, which I don't really know what 12 FPA is. Let's go to a different IAS calculator, because I need to figure out what my attack rate is specifically. I'm going to go to the older one that's easier for me to use. So Sorceress, War Shrike, which is the Winged Knife. It has 30% base IAS on it. We also have 20% IAS on our character, and we're going to be throwing the item, which means we're looking at 2.08 attacks per second. 2.08. So we multiply that by 2.08, which means we have a total of about 106,866 damage maximum that we can expect from this particular character. Now, granted, we're probably not going to hit that, which means that for most scenarios, we're probably going to not proc every single hit and every single pierce and that sort of stuff, right? So we could probably take this and divide this in half, which would bring us back down to like 53,000, because we're obviously going to be throwing as many of these as fast as we possibly can. Then we also have other things going on besides that. There's a lot going on. There's a whole lot of things going on. We also have the dreams proccing. So the dreams are actually going to be hitting targets too. So even if we just stand there and we do nothing, we're going to have the dreams dishing out damage as well. And I can demonstrate that just by standing next to a monster. And you can see the dreams proccing and hitting the monster repeatedly. So the monster's just going to constantly get procced on by the dreams. Then we also have the on-hit damage. So the on-hit damage is 40,000, 1,050 to 40,000, which is pretty insane. A good deal of that is actually physical damage, because we actually do have a pretty good throw damage from the War Strikes, combined with the, what is it, 65% Deadly Strike. You can see 65% Deadly Strike here. So we've got a decent amount of Deadly Strike. We've got a little bit of Crushing Blow and a little bit of Open Wounds in the equation too. So in general, with this character, we're set up pretty solid for throwing damage, as well as our main attack. So if we just like attack things instead, we can attack things. We need a little bit more AR, and that may be something that we're going to work on. But all in all, the characters worked out brilliantly. I mean, for P8, that's pretty fast. We are still on P8, right? Yeah, that's pretty fast for P8. If I bring that down to P1, and we do this again, I mean, she just rips through everything. Another added benefit to this character is that because of the dreams, she's set up very well for like lower level farming as well. You really don't need like a whole lot of damage output for low level areas, especially nightmare difficulty, and the dreams will be more than enough to absolutely demolish like low level zones. To give you an example of what I mean by low level zones, like let me take her into nightmare real quick and I'll show you that the dreams themselves will literally take care of most of the stuff without you even like having to do anything. If I go to Frigid Highlands with this character, I can literally just kind of stand there, and I could just let the dreams kind of do its thing. As you can see, all the monsters died in one pulse, and then they just literally all died again in the second pulse. So dreams themselves on this character is actually pretty stupid, like especially for low-level farming. If you want to do like nightmare runs, things like that, you literally don't even have to do anything. You just stand there and you let the dreams do the job for you. Especially in like lower level areas, like if you're going through like Stony Field or something like that, you're going to be teleporting through and the monsters are just going to fall down. Only the monsters that are literally almost immune to you, like with the highest lightning resistance in the land, will even stand half a chance against you. You're literally just going to be like a monster teleporting around with the dreams. Even in hell difficulty, when you go into like P1 in some of the lower areas, like Stony Field, for instance, with the exception of the monsters that are immune to lightning, most of them will also probably almost immediately fall down. The skeletons, I believe these are immune to lightning. Moon Clan are immune to cold. As you can see, they're already dead just simply from the dreams. No fallen in Stony Field today. We got Rocket Issue. His entire pack just disintegrated from existence. Now, it's not really going to work on like in hell difficulty versus the elites and stuff. You're obviously still going to have to attack them. Let's go try this in cows again. I want to give it another shot. What could you do for more AR? Well, one thing you could do is stack more dexterity. One thing I was considering was maybe setting this girl up for block chance, but I don't feel like block chance is a good idea for a sorceress. I feel like you're just going to end up... yeah. I feel like you're just not going to end up in the best of places if you go with like a block Sorc build. I mean, as it is right now, my character has plenty of faster hit recovery. So if I get stuck in a situation, like if I teleport in the middle of the cows, there's a very good chance I could teleport out, as long as I'm not dead. But there's a very good chance you can teleport out before you die, because as you can see, I teleported in and out like 3 times there, and they finally got me because I ran out of HP. But it basically just means that you can get hit, and there's a very good chance you'll be able to teleport out of danger because you're not stuck in the faster hit recovery animation. So you can teleport out. I've got like a 176% faster hit recovery, or 72, which honestly could be lower. Could be a lot lower than that.
Good day. Impossible.
Let me get him rebuffed. Try not buff you, Ulrich. There we go. Alright, let's go ahead and corral the cows. So we're gonna like teleport around them in a circle, get them all nice and in the same spots. As you can see, the dreams are working the entire time while you're teleporting around the cows. So that's certainly not terrible either. Cow King's always immune to lightning, and he died pretty darn fast. I mean, I really like the build so far. Not gonna lie, it's actually kind of cool. The damage output is there. She can melee if she wants to. She was pretty good meleeing too. I mean, it's not like the most terrible thing in the world. Obviously, she's not the tankiest beast that ever existed, but you know, it's interesting. I think I could probably make her tanky. If I did go with the max block setup, I would need faster blocking though, which is kind of hard to come by. Yeah, Infinity reduces resistance and defense, you're right. The only problem is, though, is I need him to actually be in there actually attacking things. I also don't want to rely on Infinity for that specific reason. When you're using Conviction as a native use aura, it's always with you. But when you put it on your Mercenary, and you rely on it from your Mercenary, and your Mercenary dies, then you can't hit anything. And that's not good, in my opinion. Like, it's just not a good way to build a character. Your Mercenary's gonna die. Like, no matter how well geared, no matter how well set up he is, he's gonna die. And then, so, if you're relying on him specifically to be able to even be able to hit the monster, there's a very good chance that when he's dead, you're gonna be useless. So, I don't like to set up the characters like that. Now, if I'm a paladin, and I'm natively using the Infinity, or if I'm a Spears on and I have the Infinity on myself, like if I'm wearing the Infinity, then things change. So things definitely change if you're wearing the Infinity. There's a big difference there if you have it on. Because if you have it on, then it's always with you. And if it's always with you, then you can rely on it. If it's on the Mercenary, you can't really rely on it, and that's just kind of the issue. Like, I'm not really relying on my Mercenary right now. He's useful, but he gives me lower resistance proc. He gives me some, you know, cleansing aura. But if he were to die, I could still reliably kill and function without him, basically, right? And so it's not quite the same. Also, one of the really important things you got to realize about this build is that, like, 90%, I would say 90%, maybe 85, but 90% of your damage comes from on hit, which means that if you're not hitting, you're not doing any damage. To get the Wisp Projector to proc, you have to hit. To get the Nova to proc, you have to hit. The dreams give you a nice pulse damage, yes, but the majority of the damage that they're giving you is actually coming from on hit. You notice how my on hit damage goes down to 2,889 when I take the dreams off. So when I put the dreams on, I go up to 17k with one dream, and I go up to 40k with the second dream. That's my on hit damage. So if I'm not hitting, I'm not doing any damage. Basically, it's going to be just the pulse aura, and that's it. And I would just have to just stand there and let the pulse aura do its thing. But that's not how the character is set up. The character is set up to hit things, to actually cause the proccing effects to happen. The Nova, the on-hit damage, the lightning damage, the chain lightning damage, etc. So I got to make sure that I'm hitting the target, and if I'm not hitting the target, then I'm really no good. Let's go test this against Uber Diablo, and I think that's the last thing we're going to do. Let's try P1 Uber Diablo. Okay, we got P1. We are on P1 right now. Let's grab a Scourge. A Scourge. We need a Scourge. All right, now, we don't need Razor Tail when you're fighting a single monster. We need Prevent Monster Heal, actually, is what we really need. We need Prevent Monster Heal. And we don't have Prevent Monster Heal. What can we do to add a little Prevent Monster Heal? Because this would be a Swippy swap. So whenever you wanted to do this, you would always throw in a little Prevent Monster Heal to fix things. There's a belt. I believe it's the Hawanen's belt. I should have a Hawanen's belt in here somewhere. The Hawanen's belt has Prevent Monster Heal on it. It's a simple belt to swap in for something like Uber Diablo. I don't even know if I have Hawanen's set on here. I certainly should. I must steal it. That's probably the best swap in for this character. Why would I make a Malice? Again, we're back to the relying on the Mercenary. Do you really think my Mercenary is going to be able to survive on his own versus Uber Diablo? I expect him to be dead relatively quickly. He'll be dead within a very short period of time. I kind of like never expect my Mercenary to survive stuff like this. What's up, Leon?
What's up? Why doesn't your merc survive?
Because it's a boss and he takes 10 times damage versus bosses.
No.
It's always 10 times damage versus bosses. 10 times damage.
Sounds like you need my beautiful lacquered plate so you can put that on a fortitude merc.
Fortitude Mercenary?
I got offered 2 gels so far for it.
For what?
I linked it in the channel, but it's an F lacquered plate with 13% enhanced defense, 11 maximum durability, 918.
Oh. Yeah, some people really like the lacquered plate because of how it looks. Alright, so we're going to swap to Hawanen's specifically for this. Because there's no reason not to. We get our to prevent monster heal, which is exactly what we want. We don't need piercing when we're fighting a single monster, so we should be able to do relatively well. I think my resistances are terrible, though. He's probably going to end up killing me. Yeah, I got negative 25% resistance. But again, another thing is we don't need the Sunder on when we're fighting him either. So that's another thing that you want to remember. So we're good without the Sunder. I'm trying to think if there's any other like things we could adjust. We might be better meleeing him too. I'm not entirely sure, but I think we probably would be better with the melee as opposed to ranged. I think with our attack rating, we're going to have a horrible time, and we're not going to be able to hit him at all. So we got a whole, like, what is that? 6,817 attack rating. We're going to be missing. We're going to be missing for days. Days we're going to be missing. Mama said there'll be days like this. There'll be days like this. Mama said. Let's pull in a couple lightning charms. Why not? Alright, we're just going to melee him. Oh no. No, we're not going to melee him. No, we're not. We ain't got no tank ability. He just ripped right through us. So it looks like we're going to be throwing. We're going to be throwing and dodging. Ow. Throwing and dodging. That's what we're going to be doing.
Yes.
Alright, let's try this again. It's back to throw.
How may I be of help?
To melee or to be meleeed? That is the question. Haha, it doesn't reach. Well, she did real fast. I forget how freaking ruthless Boober Diablo is versus like anybody that is a caster. He's so ruthless. Melee characters just tank him and laugh. And I literally I totally forget how ridiculous he is versus casters. He spams every single spell that he's got. He just relentlessly spams them. It's awful. I totally forgot about this craziness. Because I don't usually fight him on casters, to be honest with you. I like to fight him on melee characters. He's much easier to fight on melee characters in general. Let's go grab some mana pots. He should stay anti-regenerated for quite some time. Pre-buff fade. Pre-buff fade would be useful. It would actually. Get some more resistances, which would prevent me from dying. I got a treachery sitting around here somewhere. There's a hustle. Do the hustle. Let's go grab a treachery. Treacheries are super cheap and they're easy to come by. And so yeah, pre-buffing treachery certainly isn't like a terrible thing. There, let's steal one off the barb merc. I still haven't made my barb merc video, by the way. I'm well aware. I gotta hop off here after this, by the way. I'm gotta get to work.
No.
I gotta get to work. Gotta get to work again.
I just got here.
Ah, well, I'm doing a theory craft. It's only a crazy throw sorceress. No big deal, right? Crazy throw sorceress. Who doesn't build crazy throw sorceresses? Who?
Can I help you?
Alright, so we're gonna treachery. Let's go to let's just spawn him in frigid real quick. I'm wearing Oculus, so it teleports me out. I can't throw through that. Get out of here. Alright, let's get some Resistance. You don't like crazy sorcs? You prefer sane sorcs? Oh, that's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. Is energy shield preventing the proc? Oh no, probably not. I'm getting the proc from Dream. Alright, there we go.
Before I make a mistake here, I think Phoenix would be better, right, for a Fire Zone than the Hand of Justice? Because that's a minus 28. Mana Leech.
You're forgetting about the Hole of Fire.
Yes, Holy Fire will add some damage, but so would 8% penetration, right?
8% penetration? Who are we penetrating?
All the resistances.
I mean, I guess you could do a Phoenix and a weapon. I don't know if Fan of Justice would be better. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at the two of them.
I got the runes to make the the Phoenix for sure. I just got 2 jaws and a low for that chest.
Oh, look at you, fancy pants.
Now I need the base. What are the 2 types? There's matriarchal bow and there's a
Mat bow is
one.
faster, Grand Matron is slower. Generally, when people are doing an elemental build, they go with the mat bow.
Mat bow, yeah. Okay.
Of course, setting it up as half fire, half physical wouldn't be a terrible idea.
True.
So, if you went with a Grand Matron, you'd be slower, but you would attack fast. You know, you'd do more damage. Phoenix has a decent amount of ED on it. I mean, it's okay, I guess. And they could put Phoenix in a bow.
Yeah, I want to confirm that too. According to the Wowhead, where they list all the
Does it
runewords,
say
you can-
weapons or does it say melee? Or does it say? Because they do have melee. There's
says
melee.
missile-
There's
missile
melee
weapons.
weapons and missile weapons, and then there's all weapons. So there are like 2 different categories. War Shrikes are out. Swap to another set of War Shrikes. There we go. Might as well pick up some more potions since we're in town. I put the War Shrikes. I put the bad War Shrikes that were like out of ammo right back onto the character because I'm amazing like that. Energy Shield doesn't care about resistances, but I don't have Energy Shield maxed. So Energy Shield is only blocking a small percentage of the damage output. Also, I don't have Warmth capped either because I need the points for synergies, which is a whole other thing. I don't think it would matter much against Uber Diablo anyway. Uber Diablo burns through Energy Shield with relative ease. It's really for the percentage of HP that I have that's not protected by Energy Shield. And for when Energy Shield goes down and I'm taking full damage output. I mean, it's certainly, like, I think there's optimizations that could be made here for, like, an Uber Diablo set. Most of my characters, by the way, if not all of them, usually have an Uber Diablo setup. Something that's specifically for killing Uber Diablo. Like, I might swap over to Drax. I might throw on, like, 1 or 2 other items. And I think with a couple modifications, specifically for Uber Diablo, I think she could do it easily. I think she could easily do it. She's already exhibiting more than capable level of dealing with Uber Diablo with less than stellar equipment. Like, she doesn't have the attack rating that she really needs, which is an issue. On top of that, she could be a little tankier. I talked about this earlier, potentially making her tankier and not as squishy. There is a couple things that we could adjust. We could put more points into telekinesis to make the energy shield more effective. We could do a couple things here or there to adjust the quality. Let's see what we got.
Yes. Stay a while and listen.
On 18-15-6. I mean, as you guys can see, she's capable of killing Uber Diablo on P1. That's certainly nothing to shake a stick at either. How many sorceresses do you know that can just like breeze through an Uber Diablo? Usually you need some sort of prevent monster heal, which usually means they're swapping over to an edge bow and attacking like repeatedly to try and get that prevent monster heal on the target. I can just throw on a freaking Hawanan's Blessing and use my attack, and I can just attack. If I made her more tanky, if I could get her into a tankier setup, she could also potentially just melee Uber Diablo, which could be interesting. Attack rating wise, she's really low on attack rating. She could definitely be a lot higher on the AR, which would help out a lot too. Obviously this is not a tanky option here. This 4 lightning facet gemmed wormhide, and if you were going to do this, you would probably want something that actually had some mods on it, Like, for instance, I don't know, like something with faster hit recovery or HP or something to enhance your hit points in some way, shape, or form. I could also go with 320/20s instead of these, specifically just to give myself more HP, which would also make me a little tankier. I mean, there's options, right? There's options. I think that pretty much covers it. If those of you who missed out on the stream and you haven't seen the entire thing, obviously you can pick it up from the beginning on YouTube, or you can watch it on Twitch too. It should be up as a VOD after a little while. And you can see my reasoning on some of this stuff. I mean, I overall, I'm going to say that it is a success of a character. It works. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. The principle is sound. Like, the damage output that she's doing is more than high enough to work properly and get things done. She is fast enough with teleports to be useful. The Barb Merc seems to be the better choice in terms of mercenaries. Mainly because of the cleansing aura, which helps with the poisons, because she doesn't really have a lot of poison, like, defense, essentially. Even if she had 75% poison resistance and 75% poison length reduction, the poison still eats through your HP like crazy. So having the, what is it, level frickin' 14 plus 13. I think the max you can get is what, 15, which is like level 30 cleansing aura. So having a massive, ridiculous cleansing aura just remove any poisons or curses from you is definitely really nice. She's good at single target damage output. She's good at AoE damage output. She can kill Uber Diablo. I mean, she checks all the boxes. She could probably handle Uber Tristram. It might be a little rough, but she might have to put on like some arrow walks or something to bone wall them in, which is the same thing that Amazons do. But other than that, I mean, she could also sacrifice one of the wisp projectors for a slightly lower % chance of casting lightning to add in, say, a Ravenfrost or maybe a nice AR ring, basically, or something like that. Or I'm not really entirely sure what you would throw there. I could pull the 20 points that I put in chain lightning also. And I could throw those into telekinesis, which would give me a much tankier energy shield, which is another way that you could potentially go. We could also potentially use a memory on the other swap instead of an Oculus and a Spirit to get a much higher energy shield, which would help with the tankiness a little bit here and there. Not really entirely sure. I mean, there's little things that you can do to tweak it this way and that way. You can definitely increase her tankiness one way, but also, at the same time, her damage output is perfectly fine. So I guess dropping her damage output for more tankiness certainly wouldn't be terrible. I could min-max these charms to hell and back, like get my resistances capped out, obviously. Go with more HP charms, for example. Maybe 320/20s might be a better choice than 36 AR smalls. 36 AR smalls are kind of easy to come by, though, by comparison to like a 320/20. And it's not really the max damage that you're interested in, it's just the AR. The AR and the life, which I don't think you can get. Can you get like steel small charms of Vita? You can get some steel charms, small charms of Vita. So that would help out a lot too if you got like 36 AR, 20 life small charms, because that would help your HP a lot, which would also give you the AR you need, and you could work on that. I mean, some of the harder pieces to come by would be the amulet with the proc chance on it. And you could take the chain lightning proc chance out. That is a thing. So you could take this one out and you could go with another amulet here. Something with speed like High Lords, or you could go with just a generic +2 with all res. I mean, there's options. You could also utilize these. This is going to be hard to come by too, because you have to craft a bunch of these to get yourself a nice pair of 20% IASs with knockback and some decent resistances and whatnot. This one might be a difficult to see. A treachery for pre-buffing, that's super easy. Hwanan's Coil for the prevent monster heal for when you need to fight Uber Diablo or the Uber bosses, that's super easy to come by. Dreams are expensive. Obviously, you got Jaw Rune in there on both of those, so that's 2 Jaws to get access to that. War Strikes are kind of expensive too. They don't necessarily have to be ethereal, by the way. The only reason I chose the ethereal ones was because I was kind of hoping that the life and mana leech would help with restoring, obviously, my life and my mana and make me tankier in general. But if you did go with non-ethereal war strikes, they would be a lot cheaper and, honestly, just as good for the most part. You just wouldn't have as much tankability as my character does. So because of the really high physical damage, and I can show you the physical damage. I think that's all the lightning. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much entirely physical except for the enchant. Let's hop out and hop back in. So I can get rid of the enchant. There still seems to be lightning coming from somewhere. There's no lightning damage there. No lightning damage. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. So the armor. So we got 434 to 781 physical damage, which isn't too bad for life and mana leech. And that's the only reason I was going with the ethereal versions, was to get the better life and mana leech, basically. And then you add on all your lightning damage, and that's where you get most of your damage output is from the lightning. I mean, and you also have a decent amount of deadly strike too. So keep in mind that when we're looking at that lightning, that physical damage, it's pretty much always going to be a deadly strike too, because we have 65% deadly strike. Where are you hiding at? Where's my DS? Piercing, there it is, deadly strike. So we got 65% DS. So that 781 is more often going to be 1,400 or 520 something. So 1,520 something is going to be a pretty decent amount of life mana leech with the ethereal version. You could also, what you could do is, since the ethereal version breaks all the time, and you have to wait for it to repair, is you could have some regular war strikes in your stash or your cube. Like you could just have a regular pair of war strikes to swap to whenever you need to. That way you can flip back and forth between the two, keeping your ethereal ones for, you know, like Uber Diablo and stuff like that, where the extra life and mana leech is going to make a big deal. Alright, guys and gals. It's been fun. I got to hop off to work here. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos. And if you enjoy the videos, be sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button, and keep watching.